So we have Mr. Bobby and Rahil from Virsec. We'll talk about the security threat landscape in the region and the company's mission and vision for the region. So thank you once again for speaking to Security Review.
Thank you.
We'd like to start with a brief about the security threat landscape, maybe from a global perspective, and then we can jump into the regional perspective.
Sure. I would say, so Virsec is very different than other market you see in the cybersecurity space. Virsec, we call it deterministic protection platform. So you will see the adoption of new technologies all the time. We used to have 1.2, which was network security. Then we call about security 2.0, which was all about the behavioral analysis, machine learning, AI. But now hackers are much smarter, right? They are always 2 steps ahead of what's happening in the industry space, right? Look at what happened at SolarWinds. Look at what happened at Coral Pipeline. There was no pattern, no machine learning, right? So how do you stop those attacks? So Virsec basically sit in the software, and we have the whole app map. With our unique technology of app map, we can stop the attacks from happening in milliseconds, not in minutes. That's what differentiates Virsec from everything else. So as I said, we are based out of US in California. I'm based in California. We're expanding globally very well. Middle East is a huge market for us, and Rahil is our regional head for Middle East and Africa. But we see a huge growth globally in this space.
You see, from a regional perspective, in continuation with what Bobby said, attacks, obviously, as he mentioned, are happening globally, and UAE is definitely not left alone in that. It's right at the top, in one of the top targets over here. And many of the customers actually reach out to us from the government and financial entities and tell us that, we are not being spared even with having best of solutions in place. Primarily because these guys are looking at past knowledge, and the zero-day attacks are being overlooked without, like he said, SolarWinds for 15 months it existed, and after that it's been called a zero-day. That's like abusing the term zero-day itself.
True.
Whereas what people in UAE or other customers are telling me in UAE, the government and the financial sector, they are looking at reducing operational expenses and automating the entire process of detection. Not only detection, rather also protection, because every other vendor today is talking about detection, and you cannot protect, which means damage is already done. Visibility is good, but what after visibility? When you're not protected? That is where we score very high. We detect, we even protect, and as he said, in milliseconds.
Okay.
That makes a big difference. Yeah.
Okay, so over the past couple of years, we've seen people working from home. The work culture has changed, and corporate networks are now, they're susceptible to such threats as well. Have you seen an increase in attacks on corporate networks over the past couple of years?
Well, we have, the latest example is the Ukraine war, right? Russia is openly threatening the US now that they can attack the critical infrastructure. So we have seen the 3 times more attack patterns worldwide. With the adoption of 5G technology, also we have seen the hackers are getting much smarter, whether it's a ransomware attack, supply chain poisoning. We have seen the attacks have gone crazy. And also if you look at remote execution, has really gone multiple times. So not only in terms of government, as Rahil mentioned, but critical infrastructure, oil and gas, telecoms. And that's where Virsec stopped. Not only detect, but stop in milliseconds.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And the remote work culture, we've realized that it really works very well for businesses. Absolutely true. And people are working from anywhere. So while the weakest link happens to be the endpoints, the laptop, desktop, mobile devices, they do connect to the servers somehow or the other. And there are a lot of lateral movement within the servers also happening. So while it's important to protect laptop desktops, but if you see the commodity attacks, they'll probably happening on the laptop desktop, which is well known and many of them can protect. But if the hacker is spending time for months and sometimes even years to create one exploit, why would he just look at a few photos and credit cards on the laptop? He would target the crown jewels of the organization. That's when he will pivot from the laptop to the servers, and that's where you need the most, the best of the breed software on the servers to protect at runtime, much before the damage is done. And that is where we play a very key role. And that is why organizations choose a different solution for a server and a different solution for a laptop desktop, because the same solution cannot be protecting both the segments of their network. It needs a very different mindset to protect the servers.
And also what's happening is, if you look at the server side, right? The world runs on software, whether it's your legacy applications or your off-the-shelf, right? And the software basically are running on your servers. Not only 9 to 5, but 24/7 every day. So imagine if your software is running for critical application, and your server is hacked, which is running all the time, how do you stop, protect those attacks, right? So since Virsec is at the endpoint of servers, and we are residing in the application map, we have a technology we call app map, and it's like golden image, right, of a software. So whether like any software, the real intention of a coder, how a software is written, we basically, since residing on the software, any attack or hacking attempt on software within milliseconds.
Okay. So in terms of your vision and innovation when it comes to your products and solutions, how does it align with the needs of your partners and customers?
So we work very closely with our global partners. We already have got more than 80 patents filed worldwide. We work with a lot of global partners like Raytheon, IBM, Accenture, Tech Mahindra, HCL, Wipro on the global level. And we also work with a lot of regional partners. Our model is 100% partners in Middle East, Africa. We work with a lot of regional partners on a two-tier model. We have distributors, a couple of strong distributors in the region, and then we have strong partners, whether it's Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, UAE. But whole model is, train the partners, build the capacity for them to become our extended arm of Virsec. That's the model we are following worldwide, and Middle East is no unique to that.
So in continuation with Bobby is saying, the mission of the company itself is to make cyber threats irrelevant, and we are partnering with partners who align with this particular thought process, because today cybersecurity is not about just protecting organizations and their critical infra. This actually hurts even the society in general. So which means everybody is being affected, not just the organizations, and we care about the organizations and the society, and that's why we want to make the cybersecurity irrelevant. So we are partnering with a lot of partners already in the region, the likes of Catalyst, FVC, then we have Texala and Predots. All of them are partners, and many more rather. And similarly in the various other regions like Africa, we are expanding over there, and we plan to go really big in KSA too.
Okay. So Rahil, if you were to talk about say regional strategies in terms of key focus areas for 2022, compared to what you did in 2021, what would that be? Key focus areas. One you mentioned about new markets, for example, like expanding into KSA and Africa. What are the other areas that you're looking at?
See, as I said, we are already present in the UAE. We have a strong presence in UAE. We have a good hold on Qatar as well, and we are developing a good hold in Africa too. So these regions we plan to continue to expand. In addition to that, we plan to get into regions, as I said, KSA, Jordan and Egypt. We see a lot of potential there as well, and the need for cybersecurity solutions in the financial sectors and government entities, not to leave out health sector and the other sectors as well, but I see the critical infra is where you would need these kind of security solutions, and there are many partners who are kind of welcoming us with open hands and telling us we need a solution which is different, which is currently not available with anybody. Okay. We need something deterministic, protecting at runtime in milliseconds.
Just to add on strategy part, we are also forming an advisory board of key CISOs, people who are known in the industry. We already have got a strong interest. If people like John Chambers on advisory board of Virsec. We have a lot of ex-CISOs from banking sector, telecom sector, government sector in US and worldwide, and we want to expand that network of advisors in the Middle East as well. So that is one strategy. Second is we're also working with local talent. So we want to tie with local universities as well. We want to bring talent in cybersecurity. Latest, we have a lot of internship opportunities as well available. So I think it's two-pronged strategy. Basically work with the industry, work with the government, and also work with academia to expand the messaging.
Thank you, Bobby and Rahil, for speaking to us. Nice having you with us today, and we look forward to speaking to you again in the future as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.